Do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies, inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Are you a film fan who loves the ultimate home video experience? Look no further than The Disconnected. Your host, Ryan Verrill, is your go-to source for the latest and most accurate information on home video releases, exclusive interviews with industry insiders and filmmakers, and has established a thriving community where every film and physical media enthusiast feels welcome. From hidden gems to blockbuster hits, The Disconnected brings you insider knowledge and a welcoming space to share your love of cinema. Watch every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific for the live announcements show and follow The Disconnected on social media to stay updated. Subscribe to The Disconnected on YouTube or on the podcast provider of your choice and dive into a world where every movie night is an adventure.
Sure, just cut them up like regular chickens.
Welcome to Wake Up Heavy, the world's greatest horror movie podcast. On this episode, my weird dad and I will be talking about
Welcome to Wake Up Heavy, Recollections of Horror. This is Mark Begley, your host. It is a lovely, dreary, rainy November morning. This is what I like to call an Eraserhead day.
Do I just cut them up like regular chickens?
Sure, just cut them up like regular chickens.
A day where I would normally watch that film and or the Eraserhead stories on that old DVD I have that I bought from Lynch's site. Oh, God, almost 20 years ago now. But I watched it last week on what was supposed to be a cloudy day, then ended up being a sunny day, kind of ruined the vibe. But anyway, I don't know if the rain will appear in the background of this recording. Oh, I may add rain sounds instead of music as the ambiance for this episode. A great idea. Anyway, this is my October watches, and I'm doing it a little differently this time and giving my watches first and saving Cleo and my discussion for after the break. So we'll go out on a bang with she and I talking about the movies that we watched over Halloweekend. October was a weird month for watches. I didn't watch a movie until October 7th, and that was mainly because of recordings and editing. So recording with Chris for either the Jordan Peele was a while ago. I guess for the M. Night Shyamalan episode, which is out, which I have and he has. The Angel Heart episode for Wake Up Heavy that was recorded on the 1st of October, and it took me a while to edit that. So I didn't get to a movie until the 7th. Figured, my month is shot. This is spooky movie month. I'm blowing it. But with that last weekend of the month and my daughter having that Monday off, we got in quite a few movies that way. For me, for rewatches, most of this consisted of things for the Barfly episodes. So all the Bukowski adaptations, including Factotum, Tales of Ordinary Madness, Crazy Love, and Barfly. And I got a couple new things in there, which will be later. Because Chris and I did an episode on Halloween Ends, I rewatched the first two of the original franchise series. I have a soft spot for Halloween 2.
That girl, that Strode girl, that's Michael Myers' sister.
I talk all about that on that episode. I don't believe I have that one, so you'll have to go to Culture Cast for the Halloween Ends episode. During October, of course, TCM plays a bunch of older spooky movies. On Mondays, the last couple of years, they've had Mario Cantone on with Ben Mankiewicz to introduce a couple of films that he picks. And I tried to catch as many of those as possible. The ones that I missed, I would go back when they were on demand and watch the intros and outros with them because I loved their rapport. On the 24th, they had what might possibly be the greatest programming lineup of TCM's history, at least for my tastes. They started with Creepy Loners, so this whole night was creepy cinema. And so the two movies that Mario and Ben introduced were The Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane and Alice, Sweet Alice, which I've done episodes on. And then for the rest of the evening, they had The Haunting of Julia, Let's Scare Jessica to Death, Carnival of Souls, Spider Baby, and Freaks. And those first two, Haunting of Julia and Let's Scare Jessica to Death, also kind of done episodes on. The Haunting of Julia, stuff that I did with Simon Fitzjohn, it looked amazing. I recorded it, so I have it. That is finally, if you listen to those episodes that I did with Simon and his work on getting the negative for this to get it re-released has finally come to fruition. They are working on the restoration, the remastering of that negative right now. So hopefully I get a chance to talk to Simon before that's released. I couldn't be happier for him. He's been in a ton of work. So I have this on my DVR until that Blu-ray comes out, and it looked amazing. So I didn't watch necessarily all of those. I watched the intros for them. I did watch The Haunting of Julia. In that same vein, another Mia Farrow movie, I don't think it was shown that night, but around the same time, Secret Ceremony, the really weird movie with her and Elizabeth Taylor, which I talked about on that Mia Farrow episode ages ago. My last rewatch of the month was something completely different, Airplane, and there's a reason for that. A new project that Chris, Mike, and I are doing, actually recording the first episode tonight. More on that soon. There'll be a whole new podcast, limited series podcast that'll probably last about 10 weeks, possibly starting in December or January. More on that later. All right, for first-time watches, I watched the new Hellraiser, which is on Hulu, and this isn't a franchise that's near and dear to my heart. I didn't necessarily care for this all that much. Interesting Cenobite designs, or whatever the proper term for those guys is. It's okay. I mean, if you have Hulu, you're a fan of the Hellraiser series in any way, shape, or form, give it a shot. I watched the newest Stephen King Netflix adaptation, Mr. Harrigan's Phone, with the kid from, I always forget his name. The kid from It and Knives Out, Jaden something or other. He's always good and stuff. Donald Sutherland was in it. It was all right. Interesting concept. Not much to it, but it had a nice mood going on, nice fall mood, which I was very ready for at the time. Watched another Netflix exclusive or original, I'm not sure which, No One Gets Out Alive. I think I'm done trying to find these. Another wacky Netflix original to do with Chris. This wasn't so wacky actually, but decent. The new Bukowski adaptation that I got a chance to see was Cold Moon. Talk about that on the Barfly episode. I watched some documentaries and some readings. The one that I had never seen any of was called You Never Had It. And this was from a newly discovered Italian interview / documentary that was done in 1981. Pretty good, nothing mind-blowingly new for me. And then I watched most of his last reading in Redondo Beach, and I used clips from that on that episode. Bukowski, The Last Reading.
I come from San Pedro to put Redondo Beach on the map.
I used to have the LP of that reading. Yes, they used to release Bukowski on record back in the day, and I don't know where those went. I had like 4 or 5 of them given to me from different people. Of course, I watched Halloween Ends for that episode. You can go listen to that. My thoughts on that film. Part of the TCM Spooky Monday series that I did catch and watched were 2 Shelley Winters films that I had not seen, I don't think, all the way through before. Caught little bits and pieces of them over the years. Part of that hagsploitation cinema of the 60s and 70s where these older actresses came back in creepy movies like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, etc. Usually Betty Davis or Joan Crawford. So these both had Shelley Winters, What's the Matter with Helen? Tell by the title. And Whoever Slew Auntie Roo. And I think I kind of liked Whoever Slew Auntie Roo a little bit more than What's the Matter with Helen. I caught a film on TCM called Salt of the Earth that was a pro-union film from the 50s that got blacklisted, that got squashed by that whole thing and wasn't seen for years and years and years. I remember reading about this way back when in some of my film books. Really interesting. Mostly non-professional actors, had a real strong feminist vibe to it. It was definitely worth a watch. I discovered, quite by chance, that there was a new Micah Monroe horror film on Amazon Prime called Significant Other. So I watched that. I would say of the 2 new Micah Monroe movies that I have watched this year, this one and The Watcher or Watcher. Is it The Watcher or just Watcher? Watcher is the better film. But I liked Watcher more than Significant Other. It was pretty good, had an interesting twist, double twist. Sort of felt like a Lifetime horror film, though, to me, after a certain point. Worth checking out if you've got Amazon Prime, though. She's always great. One of the new horror movies that made a big splash, made a bunch of money in the theaters, got a lot of hype on Twitter from horror fans, ended up landing on HBO Max, Barbarian, with Justin Long and Bill Skarsgård, and I forget the lead's name. Unfortunately, sorry. Maybe I'll have the computer do that since she is the lead.
The lead actor's name is Georgina Campbell.
Again, not as crazy as I had been reading or hearing. I think I ended up not liking it all that much. It's, again, worth a watch if you've got HBO Max. Happy it did well at the theater. Terrifier 2 has also done well. Pearl did well. All these independent horror films are breaking records, making their money back plus, and so that's great. More power to them. The rest of the new watches I had were with Cleo, so we'll get into those after the break. For my breakdown, though, I think I had 15 new watches out of 30 or 31 total films watched for October. So, pretty good. Keeping at the 50%, which I think is relatively high for me, since I do a lot of comfort and rewatching of films that I like, which I will probably do today after I finish editing all this mumbo jumbo. One last note about the Patreon. Have a new Patreon member, Brian T. Thank you for signing up. I think that, and I was afraid of this, it's not how I set it up. It's supposed to be an annual subscription, and I deleted the old thing that was $1 per episode, $1 per creation, as they call it. I deleted that, sent everybody a message that I was creating a new tier. It's supposed to be an annual subscription of $12 a year, so you could listen to anything that was released for that flat rate. I I wasn't sure what they had done with it because every time I looked at that tier, it kept saying $1 per creation, but when I would open it up, it would have the annual fee on there. I can't change it as long as I have a patron on that tier. So unfortunately, it looks like they default to that if you don't charge $3 or more per month. I believe that's what I'm getting from this. I'm not going to change it since there is a patron on that level, the only level there is now. But I don't expect people to pay $1 per creation. So pay what you want to listen to, I guess, ad-free. In October, there were like 3 or 4 things that I uploaded on there. Whatever. It's not how I set it up. This is one reason that I don't like dealing with Patreon. But I figured there's an option for people that just can't stand the ads. And there's a little way for me to make extra money to pay for Zoom or whatever the minimal costs are. My apologies that isn't what I intended, but at some point we'll get everything straightened out. All right, I think that's it for me. Up next, after these messages, will be Cleo and I talking about the stuff that we watch together.
Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and I, we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from 3 very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Dev Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production Podcast Network. We hope to see you online.
I am back, and Cleo has joined me for the second half. We're switching it up this time.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the movies that we watched mainly over Halloweekend.
Yeah.
You had the 31st off of school for no real reason other than you guys had it off. They weren't taking it as a holiday, so don't write into me wondering why schools are now taking Halloween off as a holiday, although that would be awesome.
Yeah, it would.
We did our pumpkin carving over at your auntie's on that Saturday, so that day was mostly taken up. We probably watched some of the shows that we're going to talk about on this episode, as well as the movies that we'll talk about. But we watched movies on the 30th and 31st, that Sunday and Monday.
Yeah.
The only other movie or movies that I see that we watched were the M. Night Shyamalan movies. Signs was a rewatch, and we've talked about that previously, but that was your first time watching Unbreakable.
Yeah.
So what did you think about that one?
I liked it. It was pretty interesting. I don't want to say it was slower than the other ones, but it wasn't as... Well, maybe it was slower. I don't know what I'm saying.
It's slower.
Yeah, okay. Did we watch Signs first and then Unbreakable? Or was it the opposite?
I think we went the other way around.
Okay. Either way.
Was the new one.
I had only seen some of the... Well, Sixth Sense isn't that fast either, but those had more, like, things going on. But I did like Unbreakable. It was different from the other 2 movies, or at least from Signs. But I liked all the, like, superhero type aspects of it. It was interesting.
Yeah.
And him saving the kids in the house was interesting. And the tarp. The water stuff, too.
It's an interesting superhero origin story.
Yeah.
It was nice to have a non-DC or Marvel or whatever, an actual comic book adaptation.
Yeah. Just a fun little superhero movie.
It does move slower, although, as I think I mentioned on that episode, pretty much all 3 of those movies are exactly the same amount of time. They're all like an hour and 45 minutes. One of them, I don't remember which one, is maybe a minute longer.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's just the pacing.
Yeah, it's just paced slower. Okay, on to the big watches, our Halloweekend. So we started, I think we just picked random stuff, looking through our lists, or looking through what was available.
Yeah.
Either on the Fire Stick or on Xfinity. And so the first one we watched was...
A Quiet Place.
Yes, which you haven't seen, but Mom and I have. I actually went and saw that in the theater because the power had gone out at home and was supposed to be out for like hours, and it was hot. Came out during the summer, so went to the theater by myself and watched it.
There you go.
Been meaning to watch the second one, and I figured since you've been watching scary movies, we'd watch the second one together, but that meant you had to watch the first one.
First one, yep. I really like both of them. But the first one was really, the whole concept of you have to be quiet in the modern world was really interesting, and especially with her beginning, we have a younger child who
does something stupid.
Yep. And then we cut to like later, and then she's pregnant again. And I think I was like, how are you supposed to raise a child in what's happening? And well, we get all of that some in the first, and then a lot more in the second. But it was very interesting to add that baby into the mix, because like the whole point, gotta be quiet.
Yeah.
And then it's like, here, have a little tiny newborn baby, and that cries way too much.
It's the only way they can communicate is by crying.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to what it would be like without a newborn, although the newborn isn't in the film all that much, the first one at least.
Because I think all of that goes down like midway through to the end.
What would be the big, because that's the main stumbling block they have. Mm-hmm. They figured everything else out. Well, kind of. Have they figured everything else out? Because like we've said and other people said, why don't you just live by the waterfall?
Yeah, I said
live by something noisy. Live by, I don't know, something else that's making constant noise, or closer to the water at least when they're fishing. It's like, this noise covers most of the small noises.
Yeah.
But we'll go live in this house that is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that isn't really near anything. And we have 3 confirmed aliens in the area, but it's fine.
All the little details that you only see and they don't explain, that's like your exposition, so you don't get a lot of that. You don't get a exposition dump, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. You figure things out of order. I mean, the second movie starts with day one instead of the first movie starting with day 1. The first movie starts with day, I think it's 80-something, where Bo. I think the
80-something, the little kid gets it, and then it's a little over a year later.
Yeah.
And, so the second one, which none of us had seen, and your mom watched with us as well.
Mm-hmm. I like both of them.
I like both of them, but I think I like the first one more, just because it's mainly them.
Yeah, I was going to say it's more isolated in the, like, everything. It's just those.
And I had heard that the second one gets into the whole idea, like most zombie movies now do, that the people are more of a threat than the alien monster or whatever, whatever the big threat is. And I thought, oh no, they're just going to keep going from place to place and running into horrible people.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, Cillian Murphy's going to be a horrible person. And we're introduced to him on that day 1.
Yeah.
They're friendly to each other, so I thought, well, maybe I'm wrong about that.
And then we get to the scene where the kid gets his foot trapped, and you're like, oh, this guy has traps everywhere.
Yeah.
And you think about it for a little, you're like, oh, it's for the people, but then you're like, maybe it's for the aliens. So it's kind of interesting on his story, too, because I think up until him rescuing them, you're like, did he set the traps out for people? But not really.
Well, you have to protect yourself, and other people are going to create more noise. Yeah, I didn't really think about that, who the traps are set for, but I was just like, is he going to be a good guy or is he going to be a bad guy? And he's not really set up as bad, but it could have gone either way. But then he ends up helping the girl on her mission.
The scene where he supposedly leaves her in the train, even though I think he just went out to, like, get supplies. But that scene was like, did he just straight up leave the little girl alone, like, by herself? No, he did not. So...
Well, and then we get the whole deal with the people on the boats on the dock, and I thought, oh, this is the thing. This is the people are worse than the... But it didn't last very long.
That was nice.
They got out of that situation, so I was happy that it wasn't all that, because I don't like that. That's why I stopped watching The Walking Dead.
Yep.
Because that's all it was. Each group we encounter is bad in some way, and blah, blah, blah. And it got old really fast.
That was... nice though when it went from we have these like feral people on the docks, but when they got to the island everyone was really normal there because, yeah, they were isolated, so nothing could really happen to them there, so there wasn't a reason for them to be feral and weird. But it was nice to see that there were still like normal people in the world.
Yes, and then we learn the monster's kryptonite is water.
Sure, they can't.
It's a little bit like Signs.
Yeah.
In both movies, where it seems amazing to me that somebody, either the military or their government in some country, didn't figure out, oh, well, these things are mostly ear.
Yeah,
at least their heads are. So
their heads are mostly
wouldn't
ear
loud sounds bother them?
Like, yeah, some little deaf girl figured it out before.
Yeah, and she didn't even really figure it out.
It took her a good amount of time to figure out the implants.
But that and then the water thing, it seems like it wouldn't take that long to figure out, oh, they're not chasing us when we go into water.
Yeah.
And then get that out to people somehow. But anyway, my minor complaints about those two movies.
But, like, otherwise, they're really good. I don't know, I think I stayed away from them. Like, I felt like I didn't really want to watch them because of the noise thing, and I was like, I don't know, it'd probably just be, like, some weird thing. But those movies were, like, really, they were interesting. I liked them. I'd probably rewatch them.
And then we're having another one that's back to day one again, but it's other people's stories. And I think Lupita Nyong'o is supposed to be in that, so it'll be totally separate from their family, although I'm sure at some point they'll encounter them, or who knows what.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, one of my favorites.
Oh, Annihilation.
By Alex Garland, our favorite, who brought us Men, which we all loved so much.
Yeah, sure. I actually did really like Men, but
I know. It traumatized you. Your mom and I have watched this. I think I've watched it a couple times on my own as well. Very interesting concept. Very interesting visuals. Good cast, good story. So what did you think about it?
I liked that one. I think this always happens. The weird, like mimicking, or like, it's kind of Uncanny Valley. I don't like the weird, like, fake human thing that always comes up and they're in Men too, where there's like a bunch of weird, not real men things giving birth. But then in Annihilation, we have the weird, I'm a clone of you thing. That seemed kind of creeped me out a little bit, but that happened in the Cabinets of Curiosities episode, which I want to talk about because that was weird. But I really liked that movie, and I want to bring up the deer because I really like those deer. I mean, those are I kept thinking about them for the rest of the movie, because does she talk about... She, like, mentions how it was just trying to make something new, and it did. It made really pretty things, but then it also has the, like, bear. That I don't like because it's creepy. There was a lot of interesting stuff that went into the shimmer and stuff and became new things, and I think it's a cool concept. It's interesting.
I guess it's based on a series, or was the first in a series of books.
Yeah. I think it's like a trilogy or something.
But that guy's batting 1,000 as far as I'm concerned, because I really like Ex Machina too.
I haven't seen that yet.
All right, and then we ended the day with a Netflix film.
Wendell and Wild.
The new Henry Selick stop motion, or whatever they call it. What do they call that stuff these days?
Stop motion, I think.
Is it? Okay. I'm sure there's some industry term they use.
Yeah, probably.
I didn't care for this.
I liked it. Like, it had an interesting plot and stuff. Like, it was interesting, but comparing it to Coraline or, like, other Henry Selick movies, it was just a little off. I saw someone say that it didn't feel finished necessarily. Like, the plot was a little off in some ways. But the thing that weirded me out was the dialogue. There felt like there was, like, weird pauses in between a lot of it. And I don't know, that might have just been me. But the way some of the characters talked, especially the main girl, I can't remember her name right now, but the main character, she talked in a certain way where there were spaces in between her dialogue, or at least for me, I caught them, and it just didn't sound natural.
It could have had something to do with the animation, and they maybe had to insert pauses and stuff.
Yeah, that could be it.
I didn't like the character design.
Oh yeah, you
at
said
all.
that. Yeah, it was very interesting looking.
And after a while, so that threw me off at first, and then the story, I don't know, that whole thing about the Key and Peele characters, basically, and I have no idea what their names are in this.
Wendell and Wild.
Oh yeah, duh. Doing the hair for the Beelzebub or whatever his name was. I don't know. It was just weird. I was like, I don't get this.
It was all intertwined in a weird way, I think.
It didn't do anything for me.
It could have been put together more more smoothly.
It seemed kind of cheap. None of the jokes landed for me.
That's the other thing.
The character design.
Yeah, the character design.
I think I gave it a 2 on my Letterboxd. I don't know.
That was the other thing when you talk about character design. Most stop motion stuff, I think of like that. It has, their faces are smoothed out. I know that they take different parts of the face and replace them for talking and movements and facial expressions. This movie didn't smooth it out. You could see the lines in the faces, and I think
I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
I think it was
part of what I didn't like about it.
It was so off-putting to me because it's like that makes it look incredibly.
It makes it look unfinished.
Smooth. Yeah, it makes it look unfinished, and it doesn't look right because I don't want to keep comparing it to Coraline because they're not really similar movies. But Coraline is like the main thing you think of when you think of like Henry Selick or Leica Studios, even though Wendell and Wild isn't Leica, but we're not going to talk about that. Coraline has very finished and very smooth like edges and stuff. That movie did not. It had, which that is definitely a style choice. A lot of the characters in Wendell and Wild had very like angular features and stuff, which like I'd be fine with. The blonde girl and her mom was horrifying looking.
Yes,
I hated her character design and her dad. They looked really weird, which was on purpose probably.
I'm sure it was, but it was not attractive at all.
It was definitely off-putting.
Not appealing in any way.
Yeah, no. At least, like, I get making, like, the main villains disgusting looking, but the little kids looked weird, too. And I was like, the only character who kind of looked normal in that movie there's two. The main nun who helps her throughout the movie, and the Raul. Those two characters looked the most normal to me, which, like, that's fine.
I don't really have much to say about it.
I don't know. It was good, but compared to others, which like I said, I don't want to compare it to them, but I feel like there's better stop motion ones.
On Halloween, we actually watched more movies on
Sunday
than Monday. I think we got burned out on the last one and decided to watch some regular stuff afterward.
Oh yeah.
So we started with
Let the Right One In.
We watched Let Me In, I don't know, a couple months ago, I guess.
Yeah.
I had been wanting to get you to watch the original.
Yeah.
Because they're both interesting. They're different enough.
They're different enough, but also similar enough where it's nice.
And I like both of them. I
do
like
too.
the American remake a lot.
Yeah.
But what did you think about this one? And you had to read.
Oh, I'm fine with I'm fine with reading subtitles. I put subtitles on normal shows or like English stuff because
a lot of people do because most shows don't have very good sound design.
Yeah.
You can't hear people.
That was good. It was interesting. It was interesting to see some of the things taken out. Like, I know, did you say that you didn't really, the whole, like, townspeople talking and stuff wasn't your cup?
I prefer the American version. I like that it's basically the cop character in the American version as opposed to hanging out with the old people, drinking and in that nasty cat house. I don't need that extra stuff. I like that it's more focused on him and her familiar in the American remake. And it makes more sense to me that it's a cop dealing with stuff as opposed to just the neighborhood people. I kind of like that aspect of it, that it's just neighborhood people, but I don't.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm not interested in their
just random. Like, I remember
them
catching
talking and hanging out with each other.
They were talking about the death penalty, and I was like, "Is that going to come into play?" It didn't. It was just them talking
I
in the
don't
cafe.
even remember what they. I think it's just conversation that people have at the cafe.
Yeah, like you said, I do like the neighborhood people being the ones who kind of like not learn about. Why can't I remember her name? Ellie, but they have like weird suspicions. But I like that the cats come back. I like that the cats beat up Virginia. I think that's what her name is. The chick who gets turned by Ellie. I thought that was funny, but I like that a lot of it is really similar. Like the American version did a lot of it really similarly to the Swedish. Is it Swedish? Something. It's one of those. But I really liked it, and I liked the differences too, like the Ellie not really being a girl per se, and the other.
In the American version, that gets kind of dumbed down a little bit.
Yeah,
the ambiguity of what she is or they are, because it's obviously, and in the book, I think it's spelled out very much so that it was a little boy that was castrated,
yeah,
and then lived as a girl because of that for however many hundreds of years they've been alive or been around. That's more explicit in the.
Yeah, I think in the American version, they went down the route of, what if I'm not a girl, I'm a vampire type of thing. Because that's what I got from the American version.
What if I'm not a human?
Yeah, like that. What if I'm not a human girl? But in this version, you can tell she's not talking about necessarily being a vampire. She's talking about the fact that she was castrated. She's not a girl.
I like the little boy in this, and I like her. But I do like Cody Smith McPhee.
He's a little creepier. I said that when we were just talking about it. He's a little creepier than the kid in the Swedish one, but both of them are like really good in both movies. They act the creepiness like it's good. It works, but I think what's his face in the American version is a little more creepy.
Well, and they show him spying on that girl.
Oh, then yeah.
And I haven't read the book, but I just listened to the Projection Booth podcast, did an episode on it, the original. Of course, they always talk about remakes and stuff, so they mention that. But in the book, he's really creepy and really not as likable, which is fine for books, but in the movie,
but in the
kind of
movie,
need him.
You need him to be more likable. I want to talk about the bullies, though. They're a little more wimpy in the Swedish version.
This little dude's little puny,
Connie little
and
turds. Yeah, Connie.
Even smaller friend and skinnier friend, and hey, at least they all get it in both versions.
Yep. And to the ear, that ear scene is still in the.
That's almost all exactly the same. That whole ice skating scenario
exchange, yeah. The car scene isn't in the original,
and I love that car scene.
Yeah, the car scene's fun.
I just like that whole setup. So in the original, he's gone to the school and kidnapped that guy in the gym, which seems really stupid.
Yeah.
Not that hiding in somebody's car is much smarter, because like they do. He goes and picks somebody else up. They stop at a gas station. What is he going to do? And I just like how that whole setup in the American version, and that they show it all, them crashing and flipping and him pouring the acid on his face. And and I like that actor a lot too, that plays her familiar in the American version. So.
Yeah. I do also the acid to the face. And we were watching it and you're like, I don't think it's as bad as, or you said something about it not being as bad as the American one.
Oh, it didn't look that bad in the reflection.
And then he turned and like you can see into his mouth, you can see into his like cheek, and you can see his like skin flabbing while he breathes. And I was like, are you sure?
Still not as bad.
Are we sure? Both of them are really good, so I can't really be like, I like this one more, because they both have their like aspects to them where I enjoy.
Can watch either one, and usually when I watch one, I want to watch the other one.
Yep.
All right, what's up next, kid?
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, we've been talking about watching this one for a while.
Yeah.
Just kind of went with things that popped up and caught our attention. I've only seen this a couple of times. I saw it once at Fresno State. They played it, I think, during Vintage Days.
How interesting.
Played it out in the outside because people dress up and perform and act out scenes and shout at the screen, which I knew about, but I didn't know any of the stuff. I just went to see it because a whole bunch of friends and I went to go see it. And then I think I've rented it maybe once or twice, which is not quite the same experience. But what did you think of it?
It was pretty good. I mean, there are some definitely like, oh, this is very much like small production type of things. Like the sets were very empty, which sometimes works because, I mean, we find out at the end of the movie they're not human. That little, there's 4? Magenta, color. Yeah, there's 4 of them. They're not human. So it kind of makes sense when you get to the end of the movie and you find out, oh, well, of course their house looks like really strange and weird. But there are some things where it's just like, you can tell this is from like the 70s and has this kind of a lower budget.
You can tell it's low budget, yeah.
Yeah. But it's really fun to watch, even if it is like that. It's fun. There are some goofy parts. I remember you asked why, what's his name? Meatloaf's character, is his name Eddie in it? Yeah, had been in the freezer. I looked it up. That slice on his head is because they took half of his brain for Rocky.
Okay.
I don't think that's mentioned in it, but he was used for Rocky, parts of Rocky.
He's the son of the guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
And I guess originally Meatloaf was supposed to play both characters, which would have been interesting.
I also heard that Elvis was supposed to play Eddie, which I was like, that's weird. That's a weird, okay. But I guess it works. I don't know.
The songs are fun.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the acting parts get a little... Yeah.
I think that's more on like...
poorly paced.
Yeah.
Rushed, low budget style. I think it would be a lot more interesting to watch it with a crowd that knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
and how to react to everything.
That'd be so cool to go see.
I'm sure there's still some towns that do it pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And then the last movie, this was my choice because I kept mentioning it to Mom because I really like the lead actress in this movie. And it just showed up on Shudder to end the night or to end the day. And I think it finished us off for scary movies for the rest of the weekend. We watched...
Resurrection.
What?
Resurrection.
Oh, cut out or something. Yeah, Resurrection with Rebecca Hall is now on Shudder. I watched The Night House when it came out on HBO Max and was a little disappointed in that one. I don't know if I was disappointed in this one, but I don't think I understand what the heck was going on.
Oh, no, it was really weird.
We won't spoil it for people, Cleo, so...
No. But it was strange.
She's really good in pretty much everything she does. She has that monologue scene in this when she's talking to that coworker.
Oh, yeah.
She's sitting in her office and it goes, I'm like, okay, this has been going on for a while. She tells the story about meeting the character, the antagonist, who's shown back up in her life. Felt like it was 10 minutes long. It's probably more like 5.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't that long.
It was,
but it was very
amazing.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is a weird one. This is a weird...
It's not that long, is it? I feel like it wasn't that long of a movie. I feel like it was like an hour 45 or something. I don't know. It felt long, but it also felt quite short. Like there were, I think...
It's 103 minutes, so that's an hour and 40, roughly.
Yeah. So, but I remember we paused it like halfway through, and I was like, oh, we're only halfway through. Because I feel like the first half of the movie is definitely like kind of slow burn-ish. Kind of. First half of the movie is definitely like there's only these little things happening, and then it gets more, and which, yeah, that's a slow burn. But it was very interesting. Like the concept is weird. The main antagonist is very strange. His acting is like the way he portrays the character was also very strange. I did not like the way he talked in that.
Well, when she first goes up to him,
on the bench,
and he,
that was so weird.
It was very mannered.
Yeah.
The way he didn't really do that as much in the rest of the film, but it was like he was choosing his words very carefully and specifically. And then he smiles real weirdly. But it was to show that he had an empty space in his teeth, which is a part of the film. Yeah, so that's Tim Roth, who's been in a ton of stuff your mom and I have watched. It's one of those where you're not sure what's going on. You're not sure.
You don't know what's
if she's crazy or not. And so you're waiting to find out if that's what it is, if she's crazy, or if this story is real. The ending didn't really clarify that very well.
I didn't really...
Which is fine. I mean...
Yeah, that's fine. It leaves you to think. I mean, I call it Men Part 2. You don't really know what is going on. There's a weird guy and a chick. It's strange.
Yeah, it has some connections to that, which we won't get into because that's spoilery.
But I can say the bench scene is very because he's like talking about like not knowing her stuff. I don't know.
But then he gives it away, and
but then he
says
does,
her
yeah.
daughter's name, and yeah, so it was.
It's very off-putting.
Which is how it kind of plays out.
Yeah.
Until he very specifically, we know, yes, this is the person that she's talking about from her past. It's definitely him. But that ambiguity of that, I don't know. I mean, you just assume, oh, yes, this is the guy that she's talking about.
It was weird.
I think that put us through the ringer, so we stopped watching movies. I don't know if we watched any of the shows that we've been watching that night or not, but we have been watching.
Did we finish Midnight Club on Halloween? Or was that Sunday?
I'm not sure, but we can talk about the shows, some of the shows we've been watching. We watched The Haunting of Hill House.
I love that. That was so good.
I think during October.
Yeah, we did.
Got through that pretty quickly.
Yeah, that was...
That's a good one.
Amazing. We had a lot of fun finding the ghosts hidden. And the concept for that is really interesting. The Red Room and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the bent neck lady. And I think at the beginning of the show, I want to say the mom talks about, like, places, like, having energies stuck with them for the rest of it, which comes into play with, like, people being trapped there and stuff. But I also thought about it more when it's revealed who the bent neck lady is. She was trying to tell Mel, and, like, she was trying to help her, which is kind of really sad. But that show is really good.
Your mom and I really liked it the first time we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't do Haunting of Bly Manor. We went to his newest show on Netflix. That is Mike Flanagan.
Mm-hmm. The Flaniverse, or whatever they called it.
Yeah, the Flaniverse?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think it was just Flaniverse.
That's so stupid. Yeah, we watched his newest show on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. The Midnight Club.
And I don't know anything about those books.
They're books?
Pike.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, Christopher Pike. It's kind of like
that kind of makes sense
Stein
now. Yeah.
For older kids.
Yeah.
The Fear Street stuff is Christopher Pike. No.
Fear Street's R.L. Stein.
That's R.L. Stein, yeah. Okay, so anyway.
Bringing up Goosebumps and stuff, shows like that, like Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yeah, it's Are You Afraid of the Dark? I think I turned to Mom when we were watching, like, the second episode, and I was like, the club is the same idea as Are You Afraid of the Dark, where they go into this certain area and just tell stories to each other.
Yep.
Which was really interesting. And I think at some points I got a little drained from the show because I told somebody else, I don't remember who, we had gone from watching Haunting of Hill House to this show, and I could definitely tell there was different. Haunting of Hill House is very much, I don't know, spookier, I guess. Kind of. Especially watching that first episode, which is the continuous jump scares episode. I was like, this is weird. I don't know if I like this yet. So it did take me a little bit of time to warm up to the Midnight Club, but I did really like it in the end. It was good. It was very interesting. And I think it just took me a little longer because of some of the stories. I was expecting some Hill House stuff, and I remember hearing that some of the actors were in it. So I was like, oh, this should be at least kind of similar to Bly Manor, if it's not, like, super similar to Hill House. It's not necessarily, but it is. I still really like it.
They have very different tones.
Yeah.
So I was happy about that because I've gotten a little tired of the previous three. The tone, the heaviness,
yeah, it was nice to have
trauma, the family drama that's in Hill House, Bly Manor, and Midnight Mass. They're all very,
like, dark and deep and a little hard to watch sometimes.
That Midnight Mass one, everybody was complaining about, like, how everybody has all these long monologues, and which I didn't mind, but it's very talky and very heady and very. So I was kind of happy. Okay, younger people, maybe this will move at a quicker pace. I like that idea of not only their stories, but the stories they're telling, which is. We've been seeing a lot of that scary stories to tell in the dark, Goosebumps.
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Have you watched the new Are You Afraid of the Dark?
No, I heard about that, though, that they revived it. Okay.
It's good. I don't know anything about the old show. I never watched it. That was way after my time.
Yeah, that was like late 90s, early 2000s.
But I did watch the new one Because I think there weren't that many episodes. There were only like 6 or maybe 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And it's good. So we'll check that out. Because I haven't watched it in a long time. But anyway, I liked this. I liked the acting of all the young staff was all very naturalistic.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed that. And most of the stories that they told were pretty interesting and spooky and creepy stuff. And
I did like that, though. Not every story, because like you watch the first episode and it's that jump scares, and it's like it's pretty creepy up until they overdo the jump scares, which is like the whole point of that story. You get into some of the other ones, with the one about her in the garage. That's not necessarily creepy. That's just deep, and not deep. That's kind of cringe, but it is. It's heavy. Yeah, that's more what I meant. But it does have some like creepier moments with the like passing the same person on the road. So there are like creepy stuff in them, but then there's also ones that aren't necessarily like spooky monsters, ghosts. Because there's the one where it's also like the murder mystery, 1940s murder mystery one that's in black and white, I think. I really liked that story too. That one was interesting.
The film noir, basically.
Yeah. But all the stories that they tell are interesting and had different, I was going to say themes. That's not at all what I was, what I meant. Different like styles and stuff. The like main story was also pretty interesting with the like cult members and the Julia Jane. Yeah, I think that was her name. It did annoy me a little that they didn't put together that Ilanka didn't put together that there was still probably cult activity around them, because it's like if there's a scary basement with a bunch of like interesting objects, and then you also meet a girl who's near the property and who lives on like a weird out in the woods area with a bunch of like campers. Maybe it's just me, but I would have pretty quickly gone to, I think she like remade the cult, because that's kind of dumb, but I get it. It also takes place in the 90s, so maybe it wasn't that widespread. They'd be like thinking about that, you know? That was the only thing that kind of annoyed me, where I was like, girl, could you not have figured that out a little faster, that was all like intertwined?
I think we figured it out pretty much right when they showed that gal. So.
Yeah. Or like when they first showed that she was like on the property and also had this like camp commune area. Yeah. It is very much, she is a cult leader again. But I really like that show.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too.
I think there's going to be a second season, or people are speculating a second season.
I would like that.
Yeah.
We started this in October and finished it last night, but we'll go ahead and just talk about Guillermo del Toro's A Cabinet of Curiosities.
Yes. It's an anthology series. I liked it. It was interesting. All the stories. Some of them were a little slow, or at least the one that I'm thinking of that was a little kind of slower was the autopsy, the episode.
Oh, I really liked that one.
Yeah, because I had kind of zoned out into that, but then I like got back into it right when all the weird body transfer things were happening. That was so weird.
Yeah, I liked that one a lot.
I liked the lotion episode just because of how strange that was. And also because that chick was a voice actor in a bunch of shows that I've watched. So I was like, oh, she's chill. I like her. That episode was so weird.
Yeah, that one was bizarre.
And like I was talking about with Annihilation, the weird mimicking with like weird non-human but uncanny valley bodies happens in that episode, and I did not like it.
We figured out that's something you don't care for.
Yep. Well, it just creeps me out. I like watching, and it's uncomfortable.
Do you think you're going to run into your weird uncanny valley doppelganger?
Hey, we watched Us. You never know, dude. You never know.
I think I liked all of the episodes.
That rat episode was
The Graveyard Rats one might be my favorite.
That one was fun to watch.
That guy was so good.
Oh, yeah.
The lead in that one was so good. It was fast-paced, and...
It kept you, like, into it, because there was so much stuff going on that you kind of had to be, because there's rats. But there's, like, what's going on? They're stealing things? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. No, it was good. I think my least favorite was the Rupert Grint one.
Yeah, that one was a little...
I think it was too long. I think it needed... And
it
too much going on.
Yeah, there's too much, like, spacing. I don't know. The two that we watched last night, I also really liked. I really liked the Murmuring, the one with the birds. That one is. I also might just like it because I think that was one of the only stories where the person kind of gets out in the end. Like it was heavier too, but I found it interesting. All the like, ew, that little kid though was creepy. And you said you didn't like the noises that he was making.
The crying and
I said that when we were watching it last night. I think it was distorted to make it sound like he was underwater.
yeah, well, it was done very effectively because it was super creepy.
Yeah, you didn't like it, and I didn't either. It didn't sound.
That was an original story from Guillermo del Toro, and it was
interesting.
I really liked the look of it, the time period, and all of their old equipment.
Oh yeah, that was
really cool for recording and filming.
Yeah, and seeing her like rewind the tapes and stuff, that was cool to watch.
I love that.
I like
stuff.
that they add stuff like that.
Yeah, that one was very touching.
Yeah, because I believe they made it out in the end, and that they just had to talk about what happened, which was interesting.
The other one was
that we watched.
Great.
Oh Lord, that was so weird. And what was it called? The Viewing. Yeah.
From Panos Cosmatos, who directed Mandy and.
That episode was weird.
Oh shoot! I forgot the name of his first movie. Anyway.
I liked the look of that episode.
Yeah.
I liked all the filterings on the like camera and stuff. You could see it was supposed to look older. I mean, it took place in like 79, I think that's when it said. I liked all of that. I like how orange it was.
The set decoration was great. The music was great.
The score was so interesting to hear.
It was very much his style throughout. It's so different than almost all the other episodes. I mean, except maybe for the Lotion one, which takes place...
That's like 80s.
Modern times as well. But yeah, earlier than now. I don't think any of them took place in our time.
I don't think so. I think they were all later, or earlier, sorry.
The H.P. Lovecraft ones, some of the other ones were old, hundreds of years old, or decades old at least, for the Lovecraft ones.
That's funny, too. Both of those had weird melting at people things. Kinda. Lotion had weird Lotion woman doppelganger. The Viewing had weird queso alien. It was so vibrant. That was weird.
I don't know if I liked it enjoyed it as much as Graveyard Rats, but it was very interesting.
It was interesting
just
to
how
watch.
Different it was from every other one.
Yeah, because it had drugs. It had, they were hopped up. They had been drinking. They did a bunch of coke. They
didn't know where it was going to go, too. That was the other thing.
Yeah,
where is this all leading to?
That was the other thing, because we see the guns in the room that they're in, and I was like, oh, that's probably going to come back to play. They're probably like going to go insane and like kill each other. Like I said that last night. And then it was like, no, you were wrong. It went in a very interesting direction, because it's like this creepy old man invites a bunch of people, and you're like, okay, so what is he gonna show them? And then they start doing drugs, and you're like, is this? Because he's talking about like getting inspiration for like the writer and the musician, and so you're like, is this?
Well, and they mention at the opening, Guillermo del Toro's opening, and at some point one of the characters mentions that he's a collector. Yeah. Like he's a collector of people. I'm like, oh, he's going to collect them for their talents. Where is that going to lead? Which is wrong, and I thought, how is that going to play out? And
then they mentioned, because is Charlotte the character? I think she was an astrophysicist. I think.
Yes, she is.
They mentioned her like talking about aliens and stuff, and I was like, okay, that's maybe something, which it is. It went in some interesting directions.
I like how it played out. It was a satisfying discovery.
It was also pretty funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
The two running around.
No, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, the Rupert Grint one wasn't my favorite, but they were all pretty solid.
Solid, yeah. What was the first one? The first one was about... Oh, I can't remember. What was the first one about?
Lot 36 was the first one. The guy that bid on the storage unit.
Oh, that one was
good.
Weird.
I liked the autopsy.
The autopsy was the body swapping one, right?
I liked the Lotion one. That was called the Outside Pickman's Model. Was good.
Oh, that one was interesting too. all of it coming together. I like the little monster in that, even though he's kind of scary looking. Because he looks like a cryptid and he's cute.
All right, kiddo. Anything else you want to say before we go? You want to tell people anything important?
Just to watch Cabinet of Curiosities, because it's good.
Watch all those shows.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening. Stay safe. Be smart. Keep listening. And don't forget.
Anything can happen when you wake up heavy. Ho, 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 ho.
They're still not sure it is a baby.